Today's film is an action thriller from 2024 titled Absolution. The movie opens in Boston, where we meet an aging thug who lives alone. The thug accompanies a young gangster named Kyle Connor and meets up with two gangsters named Diego and Gambero. They work as fish farmers as a front and want Kyle to bring in their package from New York. Kyle asks for details about the package, but Diego and Gambero get offended and refuse to elaborate. They make fun of the old thug, but he threatens to break Gambero's shoulder. Kyle and the thug head back to their car after agreeing to work for Diego. They drive back to their lair to meet Kyle's father, Charlie Connor, who appointed the thug to work with Kyle. Charlie wants to know if Kyle is working well, but the thug reveals he's still a bit amateur. The thug tries to address Charlie, but forgets his name, revealing he's been having sleep issues and headaches, so he makes notes of everything. Later at night, the thug hangs at a bar.
What, are you late with the rent again? You got anything or not?
I've got a hot kid that could use some sparring.
I don't fucking need that.
Getting drunk over the fact that he's forgetting things. He hears a woman arguing with a man, which annoys him.
You up, bitch!
You're gonna fuck. Hey! You know what happens when I get about me? Hey! Want me to put my fucking hands on you? What you say to me? Come on, pal.
So he breaks up their fight. He knocks down the man and proceeds to head out. The woman follows him, revealing he knocked out her boyfriend and her ride home. The thug decides to drop her home and ends up making out with her at her place. In the morning, the thug heads out and tries to go back home, but forgets the directions. Eventually, he finds his house and later gets a call from Charlie. He orders him to pick up some stuff for him from a doctor named Gruber. The thug visits his clinic and picks up some drugs from him, which the doctor owed Charlie. Before leaving, the thug asks Dr. Gruber if he can help him with his memory issues. He reveals he has been forgetting names and directions, so Dr. Gruber suggests a neurologist. The thug meets the neurologist, who reveals he has chronic traumatic encephalopathy. The thug asks if she can cure him, but she reveals there isn't any cure for him, and he only has a few years left. She suggests he should get in touch with any family members who can look after him from now on. In the evening, the thug returns to his neighborhood, where he decides to take his life in his car. The neighbor's car pulls beside him, and he sees a little girl staring and smiling at him, so he doesn't shoot himself. She reminds him of his daughter, Daisy, so he decides to call her at night. Daisy is irritated by her father's call because she hates him. The thug wants to meet her and catch up, but she refuses to meet him. The thug asks Daisy about his son, but forgets his name. So Daisy mentions his name is Colin. The thug asks for Colin's number, but Daisy reveals Coldy dead 2 years ago. The thug is now heartbroken because no one told him about his son's death due to his condition. In the morning, he visits Colin's grave and later drives to Daisy's house. He heads to the back where Daisy confronts him. Daisy works as a dancer and is a single mom of 2 kids. The thug wants to invite Daisy and her kids for dinner. He meets Dre, Daisy's oldest son, who plays on a football team at his school. Daisy reveals her hatred for her father stems from their family curse of bad fathers who always abandon their families. At night, while sleeping, the thug finds himself in the middle of the ocean, along with his father, sailing on their boat. The thug asks his dad if he's still mad at them, so his dad reveals he's not. The thug starts hearing a guitar.
Enjoy the ride. He'll be landing soon enough.
Promise?
I promise.
What does that sound?
So his dad reveals the guitar is playing inside the engine. The thug wakes up and hears the guitar playing at his neighbor's house. In the morning, he heads out and runs into the woman he recently slept with. They both go for a stroll in the park and catch up. They head back to her home, where the thug notices scars on the woman's shoulders. She reveals they are cigarette burns, but doesn't mention who did this to her. The thug realizes he's getting late because he has to go to New York with Kyle. He heads out and tags along with Kyle to pick up Diego and Gambero's package. They arrive in New York and notice a truck parking near them. the truck driver hands them the keys, and they take the package back to Boston. On their way back, Kyle notices the police are behind them, so he starts panicking.
Just be cool.
Oh, shit.
Do me a favor and get on the floor.
The thug forces Kyle to get down so the cops don't suspect anything. The cops drive past them, suspecting nothing. But Kyle is angry at the thug for his behavior. At night, they arrive at Gambero's house with their package and park in the back as Gambero and his men unload their package. They both hear women screaming, as it is revealed the package contains women smuggled for prostitution. One girl tries to run away and begs the thug to rescue her, but he remains put. She gets taken back into the house as the thug feels guilty. The next morning, Daisy is at her son Dre's football match, where the thug approaches her. She is surprised to see him, and after the match, the thug gifts Dre his Pfluger. Daisy decides to pick up Katie, her younger daughter, as Dre heads out with his friends. The thug decides to give Dre a ride and takes him with him. On their way, Dre asks his grandfather if he went to prison and then ran away from his family, just like his mom told him. The thug doesn't answer, but takes Dre to his gym. There, he teaches Dre about boxing and spars with him for fun.
Calm, control, moving fast. Okay, now start. Stay still. Left, left, right. If you stay still, that's it. Back over, stay still. Left, keep moving. Stay right. That's there. You go.
Afterward, he drops Dre at his home and returns to his house. He falls asleep on the couch and dreams of sailing on the sea with his father again. He asks his father if guys like them belong at the bottom of the cold sea, and his father agrees. Suddenly, a woman emerges from the sea asking for help, and it's the same woman from the package delivery. The thug now wakes up and hears the guitar playing again at his neighbor's house. Out of guilt, the thug now visits Diego and Gambero's house to check up on the woman who begged for his help. Gambero takes him inside his brothel, where he meets that woman and takes her upstairs. There, the thug wants to rescue her, so she reveals Diego is selling her for $20,000, but the thug doesn't have that much money. She begs the thug to save him and shows him the picture of her little daughter. The thug leaves the place and drives away. He gets a call from Charlie, who wants him to meet a priest who owes Charlie 20 grand. So the thug tracks the priest and rounds him up. He confronts the priest in a truck and recovers the 20 grand. The priest heads out but gets shot.
This month.
The thug hears the shooters who were actually after him and not the priest. He disarms the two shooters and knocks them out. He heads to his car, but the third shooter corners him. The thug runs over the shooter with his car and asks him who hired him. The shooter reveals a big man with a spider tattoo on his neck hired him. The thug drives back to Charlie and delivers his 20 grand. He returns home, and the woman he slept with arrives at his place. She reveals she went through his wallet the last time and found his address. The thug lets her inside, where she finds pamphlets of chronic traumatic encephalopathy. The thug confesses his condition is real, so he didn't mention it to anyone. In the dawn, the thug listens to the guitar playing at his neighbor's house again. The woman wakes up and mentions hearing no guitar. The thug is now fond of this woman and invites her to dinner with Daisy and her children. In the evening, they dress up and arrive at a restaurant. They wait for Daisy and her kids, but evening turns into night as Daisy doesn't show up. The thug starts getting furious as he starts forgetting Daisy and yells at the waiter.
Would you like to speak to our manager?
No. Okay.
No.
Hey.
What the fuck are you looking at?
Let's just go home. Okay.
The woman takes him home, and the next morning, Daisy arrives at his house. She finds out that the thug has chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and there's no cure. The thug finds out his girlfriend told Daisy about it, so he yells at her and tells her to leave. Dre is also there, and he witnesses his grandfather yelling at a woman. Daisy calms him down and tells him if he needs any help, she'll be there for him. The next morning, he heads to Daisy's house and speaks with Dre. He apologizes for his behavior last night and advises Dre to not become like him. At night, he heads to Charlie's lair so he can ask for 40 grand to lend him so he can buy a house for his daughter. He heads inside and meets with Charlie, but Charlie fires him due to his condition.
I mean, I can't even put into words how sorry I am.
Get to the point.
I'm gonna have to let you go.
The thug walks out and notices Kyle's new goon, who is big and has a spider tattoo. The thug punches him and realizes Kyle hired those shooters to kill him. He shoots Kyle in the leg and tells Charlie to open his safe. He forces Charlie to load all the cash and guns in a bag and decides to shoot him. Charlie wishes his son to be spared, so the thug kills him and leaves without killing Kyle. He meets with a man named Bert, who's his lawyer. He gives him 70 grand for him and for the down payment for his daughter, Daisy, to buy the house she lives in. He drives back to his girlfriend's house and finds her drunk and lying on the bathroom floor. He picks her up and patches her arm. He lies with her and tells her that she helped him a lot. The thug now drives back to Gambero's house and tells him he wants to buy the hooker he met last time because he wants to rescue her. Gambero reveals she died last night when a client got a little too excited. This enrages the thug, so he pulls a gun on Gambero. He tells him to send away his guard and round all the girls downstairs so he can free them. Gambero rounds all the girls, but also signals his guard. The thug hands Charlie's money to the girls and helps them escape.
There you go. Libre, go, go. Stay down.
The last girl points out Gambero's guard, so the thug shoots him. But Gambero manages to stab the thug. He decides to slit his throat, but that last hooker shoots him. The thug tells her to escape as he gets up and drives to Daisy's house. He meets Dre secretly and shares his final words with him. He drives back to his house and decides to approach the neighbor's house, where he hears the guitar playing every morning. He breaks inside the house, but no one lives there. The thug is bleeding heavily and sits on the ground as the sun shines on him and he dies. The movie ends here.